Fearless.
Chase.
Bold.
Following.
Courageous.
Search. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Marshall.
And this is
Undaunted Pursuit.
Hey.
Hey, wow, why are you so dark?
What, are you racist or something?
Why are you so dark over there, man? What's going on? Hey, you know blackface is shunned, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, here, check this out, okay? Boom. I just turned the light on. I'm keeping the light off. I'm in the car studio tonight, and
Yes.
I'm keeping the light off. So, I don't want to run this whole podcast with the light on because I just don't want to run the battery down on the car. So I'm only going to turn it on for when I get into reading.
All right. Sounds good to me.
I know it was kind of a little shock to you thinking that I wasn't here already, but yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So, hey, guys, welcome back to Undaunted Pursuit Podcast. Glad you're joining us this week. And I hope that you all had a very Merry Christmas, got everything you wanted for Christmas, gave more than you got. And, yeah, actually, I hope you made it safe and sound to your destinations and back home or however it is. Actually, this is going to be coming out on... Well, Marshall, we're on a Tuesday release schedule now. We just kind of switched gears there. So this will be coming out the day after Christmas. And we're pre-recording this, of course, because we've got things that we're doing for Christmas. And so, yeah, I know we talked a little bit about it last week, didn't we, Marshall?
What's that?
What we were doing for Christmas? Yeah.
Yeah, we did touch on it a little bit last week. Today you and I were talking today, and you were telling me what y'all are doing for Christmas.
I know, or I guess since this is coming out after Christmas, can you foreshadow as to, hey, what did you do for Christmas, Marshall?
Yeah,
how was your Christmas?
Yeah. Aaron, so how was your Christmas, Aaron? What did y'all do for Christmas? Where did y'all go for Christmas?
Right. Oh man, it was great. It's going to be great. I tell you, we I didn't quite know last week, and we just kind of decided this off on a whim. I think something we've always wanted to do as a family was spend Christmas at the beach. So I think we're going to, and we'll have already been and come back from Galveston Beach, Galveston Island, and we're going to go down there and have us rent us a house, which is pretty nice. As you know by now, we are living in an RV, and so it'll be nice to rent a house for a little while and do our little every year for Christmas Eve. We like to make pizzas, and that's going to be awfully hard in an RV to do. So, yeah, we're going down there, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to take the kids to see these. I don't know if you know this, Marshall. Down there, they've got Seawolf Park and the Naval Museum down there. They've got a couple of warships down there. There's a battle cruiser, I think, and a submarine. Sorry, dang.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of trying to think of the name of it, but there's a submarine that you can tour, and yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And of course, we're avid beachcombers. We love shelling and treasures and oddities on the shore and in the sand and playing in the sand. So, yeah.
Yeah. So Galveston, of course, it's in my wonderful state of Texas, the best state in the United States. Anyway, but Galveston is just not too far from me, about 6 hours probably. The last time I went to Galveston, Texas, to be on the beach, it was with my Mimi and Papa on my dad's side and my cousin Nathan. We were probably in middle school, and we went down there with them for, it may have been a weekend or maybe a little bit longer than that. But we stayed in this hotel. It no longer exists. It was called the Flagship Hotel. Some of you listeners may have been to it or know of it. But this hotel was built out over the ocean. So you would drive out onto it to the parking area, which is also out over the ocean. And so you go out on your balcony, and there's the water right below, and you can see sharks swimming around, and you can see all the sea rays coming in sometimes, or all the jellyfish coming in, just like swarms, just big giant pods of jellyfish coming in.
Oh yeah.
So it was really cool. And I remember when we were there, I do briefly remember those warships and stuff, the submarine I've heard about before. I've never, we walked by them. We didn't go into them or anything. But yeah. And another fun place is San Antonio, which I've been to San Antonio. I've been on the boardwalk down there. But and I'm ashamed to say this, I have never been to see the Alamo. I've been in San Antonio, been to New Braunfels, been down there, all that stuff, been water rafting down there, but never seen the Alamo. And I'm kind of ashamed as a born and raised Texan. Never been there, so that's on the list of things to do. But I'm a little sad. I'm a little sad because
I know it's coming.
You know what's coming. You know what's coming because Aaron and his lovely family are going to drive their lovely vehicle right down through, not too far probably from where we are living. And we're not even going to see them. We're just going to go right on by. And then when they leave, they're going to come right back by. And they're not even going to stop and say hi.
We're gonna wave as we go by.
Throw me a little Hershey's kiss and just keep on going.
Yeah, exactly. Well, do you blame us? We want to go to the beach, man. We've been promising the kids that, and I just don't know how things are going to work out at the beginning of the year and stuff like that. So the original plan was to try and take the kids, because we don't normally try and get the kids experience gifts like we went over on the. We try and get the kids experience gifts, but instead of gifts. And so we tried to, we were going to take them deep sea fishing, and that's still going to happen at some point, but not as early as we thought. So this will satisfy them for a little bit. They've been wanting a beach. They love being on a beach. So yeah, we got to do something like that. I know there's a whole bunch of people that we need to go see, that we need to definitely come see you guys. And, but hey, it's funny. The last time I was in Galveston, it was cool. We were getting ready to go on a trip for a 5-year anniversary. That was 10 years ago now. And, but before that, our youth group used to do inner city missions in Houston. I don't know. It seemed like every year. Maybe it wasn't every year. Anyway, I went down there. I went down to Houston a lot when I was younger, and we would go down to Galveston on our day off. And I just remember, like you were saying, Marshall, those jellyfish that they come in like droves, and it's dirtier water than what you would expect. You can't see the bottom. It's like swimming in the lake, and and you're just swimming along, and all of a sudden you're surrounded by jellyfish, which is fine. You just don't get stung. But I remember grabbing a hold of them things and dropping them off the boardwalk, watching them splatter.
my pawpaw, when we went down there, see, a lot of the jellyfish that were there while we were there were cabbage jellyfish, which it's just their tentacles underneath them are very, very short. So, if you're swimming by one of those, the likelihood of getting stung by one is slim to none, because they don't have the long tentacles that can sway in the wind or in the waves and sting you. Because they say if you ever buy a bunch of jellyfish, to be very, very still, or slowly move away. That way you don't make a current in the water and make those tentacles hit you. But he would take them and he'd go set them on the beach, stinger side down, obviously, and just let them dry out and die.
Yeah.
But you know what they say? They say if you get stung by one, to pee on it. You got to pee on it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they say. So,
actually, that whole trip, that trip, so one of the girls in our youth group, she swam out a little too far. And I think those jellyfish up closer to the shore where we were at, I think they were those cabbage jellyfish, or what they were, because none of us got stung. But when she swam out, she swam. They said she got stung by a man o' war.
Oh, wow.
And so they had to. They called the paramedics and everything, and they showed up and did what they had to do, But she swam out just a little too far, and I love the ocean. I love swimming in the ocean. I have no problem with it as long as you can see, as long as it's a regular ocean, not Texas Ocean. I'd say northern Texas Ocean.
Yeah, if you go further south,
where you can't see anything.
If you go on a Corpus Christi, that's where the water starts to turn bluer. I won't say clear, but bluer. Yeah. It's a lot, Padre Island is a lot prettier places down there. Galveston's, the beaches are ugly and the water is dirty looking, like you said, but nonetheless, it's the ocean and it's still fun to be there.
Yeah, that's. I think a long time ago, back when we first started this, I did a podcast on water, and it's just the sound of ocean waves and the ambiance of just being there on the ocean is kind of why you go. Who cares what you may get in at summertime, whatever. Yeah, you may get in just a little bit to swim around, whatever. And we don't necessarily worry too much about swimming when we're down there. The kids love boogie boarding, so that's done right there on the shore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did that. We bought those little styrofoam boogie boards, and then I was swimming one day. There was a guy that was surfing out there on what little waves he could find. And he come up to me and he said, he goes, "Hey, you want to learn how to surf?" And I was like, "Sure." And of course, you're just riding these little small waves. And so he kept showing me how to do it. I fell several times. Eventually, I kind of just rode one in. I was like, "Yeah, I'm a pro surfer."
Rock
I
on,
wasn't
dude.
a pro surfer at all, but it was fun.
That explains the day you came back and you were talking to me using words like bra and far out, and you started growing your hair out, and you dyed it blonde, and you started wearing Hawaiian t-shirts, and I want to ride that tubular. Exactly.
Shoot.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah. I don't know that I have. I am completely unprepared today. So, all that to say, we started letting the kids, open their Christmas gifts from all the grandparents and everybody. And so I've been busy fielding all that stuff today, playing with it. What's been nice is to be able to help Wyatt. He got a new bait caster for Christmas.
Hey,
and so
nice.
I've been teaching him the inner workings of, how to use a bait caster, which makes you feel good as a father. Cause then, he's like, "Oh man, you're good at casting that," which I haven't casted it. I haven't casted a bait caster in a few years. So yeah, I was a little rusty to begin with, but I sure looked like a pro in his eyes. And I'm like, it was a fun little pick me up. Yeah. So after about 1 million bird nests and getting him undone. Cause all I did here at the RV park was tie on a weight and just let him go to town and say, "Hey, practice overhand casting, practice. I'll show you how to pitch and flip." And, you can sit there and practice and, just have at her and call me when you need help.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good times and good memories. Those
fun.
are things that both of y'all won't forget.
Oh, I know it. And as far as the other kids, my goodness, our kids are starting a edged weapons collection. So they asked for knives, swords, throwing knives, and daggers for Christmas. And of course, just about everybody obliged and got them. We've got, I don't know how many swords. We are armed to the teeth in our RV with different various types of weapons in every corner of that RV. There is not a place in that RV you can go without being in hand's reach of either a weapon of some sort. And here we are opening boxes today. And everybody's trying to figure out how to get in their boxes. I was like, there are knives all around this RV. Why can nobody open this box? Sure enough, we had to find one of the many knives or swords that we were trying to open to get into these boxes. But yeah,
wait till the kids
so
are having sword fights.
Oh man, they already have been, but we have to be careful because some of them are sharp, and so it's like, all right, these swords aren't meant for y'all to be actually sword fighting with. So you can go swing them around, whatever. So you look out our RV window, and there's a field in between one row of RVs and our row of RVs. And here these kids are just doing whatever ninja stuff they want to do, throwing a bottle up in the air and trying to slice it in half as it comes down.
You should go buy them this field. You guys should go buy them like a watermelon and like some fruit and stuff to just slice up and mess with.
Right? Yeah. Well, they would have a blast with that.
Oh, yeah. You know it. Absolutely. Milk jugs, all that good stuff. Fill those milk jugs full of water and just stab them and slice them. And yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. So it's been awesome. We're looking forward to our trip, and it's going to be good because we're going to the beach. And yeah, so like I said, I am kind of riding on your coattails of kind of what you had going on last week. I did kind of, Christian had sent me some things I started looking into. He was reading the story of the birth of Jesus, the nativity story. And he kept going back to Matthew chapter 3. And it talks a lot about repentance and being, what would be the word? Mindfully repentant of your sins, I guess, is how you'd put that. I had to think about that for a second. But so I started kind of reading through that a little bit. I have every intention of going and reading through Jeremiah, or continuing my reading through Jeremiah and Ezekiel, just to kind of get some things back into the Old Testament a little bit. But yeah, I don't know what you had planned, Marshall, or what you had going on, what you've been studying.
Well, I haven't been studying a whole lot lately. I'll be honest with that. I've got some invites on that Bible app. I just haven't started them yet. It's been so crazy busy lately, like you guys. But since you're going to dig into Ezekiel or Jeremiah or both of them, I might ride your coattails there and start reading those and do something with that. See, since this will drop later, I guess I can say last week. So last week, I think it'll be last week or the week after, the week before. I don't know, a week or so ago.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Our work, where I work at, they had every year our department does something for Christmas. That's a big Christmas party. Last year we went to Topgolf, and this year they went to a steakhouse. And I say they because I just so happened to get sick that week, and I probably could have gone that day, but it's one of those things where just randomly you get like this coughing fit, or your eyes start watering like you're crying, and you just start sneezing. And so you may feel fine one moment, the next moment you feel miserable. And so I don't want to be doing that. Let's have a nice steakhouse, because it was a pretty nice steakhouse they went to. So, and I'm still kind of dealing with it now, just a little bit of congestion. So it's a lot better than it was. But later on that week, we had it's weird talking about like this, but we had a little Christmas party in our office where everybody brought snacks, and we kind of played like a Chinese Christmas kind of a deal. Everybody in the office bought $10 gift cards, and we just, how Chinese Christmas goes, you just keep kind of going, taking your turns until you end up getting everything, and then everybody ends up with whatever gift card they get. So I don't know what gift card I got yet because I'm not there, but when I do get it, I'll let you know. I can tell you what mine is. Mine's a Whataburger gift card. So I might get lucky and get my own. Yeah. So it will be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so I don't know if if I said this on the podcast before. If I have, forgive me. But we went to. It's amazing to go to these different. We do a lot of things around food. Of course, if you see me, you could tell. And I'm not I'm not starving by any means. I plan on changing that. But um, we love food, and it's amazing to me that all these different places. Well, you're talking about Whataburger, and it kind of sparked a thought.
Here we go.
As the difference of burgers in all various locations. I was expecting. We went to this chain restaurant here. It's only in Arkansas. It's called Dave's Burgers, and for one, it's awesome because you get unlimited fries when you go in and sit down, and they just come around with a bowl and they plop fries out on your table whenever you want them. But let me tell you, them stinking burgers, man, they are delicious. I expected to go in there and just get some mediocre kind of fast food burger, whatever. But no, I'm telling you, these are prime cut burgers. They're seasoned perfectly. And you don't need anything on them. You can eat them just straight up. Just say, hey, I want a burger with everything on it. Okay, sounds good, and you get it, and you just bite into it. It's delicious.
So there's one near where you guys are at now?
Yeah, up in Hot Springs.
Ooh, good. So when we come, we're going to Dave's Burgers. So Dave's Burger in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Let me tell you something. It's a pretty cool podcast called the Undaunted Pursuit Podcast. And I tell you what, we are looking for some really good sponsors. And from what I hear, you guys got some pretty amazing burgers. And I tell you what, we will plug those burgers day in and day out on every podcast. If you will sponsor us.
That's right.
Some free burgers.
All those people, all that one person from Arkansas that listens to our podcast. It is one of the states that we haven't made enough connections here yet to get a lot of listeners out of Arkansas. But that one person. If you're from Arkansas, spread the word about this podcast, and then go into a Dave's Burgers, have your burger. You will not be disappointed, I guarantee you. But if you tell them Undaunted Pursuit sent you, it's not going to get you a discount, but who knows? It may help. I don't know.
When we were in Hot Springs, I got to talking to a lady in a clothing store, it's a boutique, and excuse me. Oh my goodness. I got to talking to this lady in this boutique who owned it about the podcast. So I wonder if that's the one person that's listening to the podcast. If so, ma'am, I forgot your name, but thank you.
There's a fine line between sharing your podcast and then just flat out marketing something. I mean, we're here to spread the gospel of Jesus and to just trying to help people learn alongside of us. That is what we're here for. This whole podcast is our mission field, and it's our, it's just it's just a platform that we're using to get God's word out there even further. So you get kind of self-conscious about sharing it, like at church. We're going to this amazing church, Lakeview Assembly in Hot Springs, Arkansas. There's a little plug for you. And I have yet to share with anybody that I run a podcast. Just because, it's just like we're there to worship the Lord. We're there to learn out of his word. So it's like, at what point do you share that, hey, I run a podcast? You don't want to walk up to somebody. It's just like sharing the gospel. You don't want to just walk up to somebody and start spitting out Bible verses. You got to, right. Something's got to lead to another something. And then you get to talking about Jesus, or you get to talking about, in this instance, your podcast. So it'll come in time.
Well, that's the deal. It'll all come in time. It'll all come in God's timing. And when it's his timing for you to talk about it and spread it, it'll happen. And once you tell one person, they'll just start telling everybody. And then before you know it, you're talking to the pastor or pastors, and you're having a podcast with 3 or 4 of the pastors on there at the church, and life is good. And then more and more people are hearing about our podcast, and more importantly, the gospel of Jesus Christ. But yeah, it always, anytime I talk about the podcast, if I'm talking to somebody who doesn't know anything about it, somehow there's just a door that opens in that conversation to where I can fit it in there. And it's not that I'm trying to, but it's just what we're talking about, something that has to do with that. Sorry. Hang on a minute. Come on. Is it her? I'm sorry, guys. I got a cat and a dog, and they just opened the door. And so,
perfect.
Off subject. Our dog, she's 11 years old. She's a black lab pointer mix, and she had this mass on her side, and it had been there for probably, I'd say, a couple years. And it's over the 2 years, it's gotten larger and larger. It was almost the size of a tennis ball. It was pretty big. And so it was a little bit smaller than that, but it just got to the point to where, she would hit it on things, and she couldn't lay on that side anymore. And so we were just like, okay, we had to take her in and get that cut off and removed. And so we did today. We took her in and got it removed. And so she's got this big giant bandage around her whole midsection of her body. She's got staples. And so in a week, we have to take her back and get a new bandage put on. And then a week after that, they remove the staples. So she's feeling kind of groggy and just, needing all the attention she can possibly get right now. Just like a sick child, right?
Yeah. I'm surprised I'm surprised they actually took it off. I know exactly what you're talking about. Winchester, our dog, he is a golden retriever. Coincidentally, comes from the lab family, or the retriever family. It's all, and he's got a large mass. It's his mass on his side is about a softball size mass, and they just told us at the time it started getting larger. They said he's just too old. And he's 15 now, or he's getting ready to be 15. However that, whatever that is, we got him just before we got married. So, I mean, we're working on 15 years. So anyway, he's 15 for all intents and purposes. And he's had this mass for the longest time, but we don't do anything about it. There's times that he can't lay on it. There's times that he can't bang it. And then other times it doesn't seem to be bothering him. I don't know what it is, but I know exactly what you guys are talking about, because we wanted to have it removed a long time ago, but they just said, dog this age, it's either you leave it alone, put him under, of course, the whole risk assessment that they do. It's like, well, if he's going to be okay with it, then that's fine. I don't know. We don't make a habit. Go ahead. It's like we just don't make a habit of taking them to the vet anyway. So,
we take all the animals, the 2 that we have. We take them to the when we're supposed to give them their shots and stuff. And if they get sick or something's really bad, we'll take them in. But she's always been a really healthy dog. I've never had any issues with her health wise. She's got several of those little lumps all throughout her body. Most of them are pretty small. I think the other largest one's probably the size of a quarter. And they're all under the skin. They're not protruding or anything like that. This one was just protruding so far that, my concern was she'd be running and hit it on something, like tear it open or something bad would happen. And it looked like she had another head growing out of her side of her body. So I said, okay, enough's enough. It's time to get that thing removed. And, honestly, the price, because we paid extra for blood work to have that done, to check all of her major organs and make sure they were good enough and healthy enough to go under anesthesia and to do the surgery. And then we paid extra to have it sent off, to have it tested for cancer, to make sure it wasn't cancer or anything like that. Like you said, labs, retrievers, they're known for these masses. It happens to most of them. when they get older.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's usually nothing to be worried about. But I thought, I'd rather know than not know if there's something else going on. That way, if there is, we can decide a plan of action for whatever it is. And if not, then she just lives out her life until it's her time to go. So, but yeah, she's an amazing dog. She's been probably one of my favorite dogs I've ever owned, and the sweetest and just super smart. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess this is a well-needed, this podcast episode this week is a well-needed kind of cool down from our really long Luke study, and that we're not necessarily going to get into a whole bunch. And hey, sometimes people just want to hear a little bit of small talk and a little bit of what we're up to, however that is, so yeah, we're just going to roll with it.
Yeah, Aaron and I like to we like doing these one-off podcasts where we don't necessarily have anything planned. Sometimes we dig into the Bible and talk about something we had no idea. Excuse me. And sometimes we just talk about our lives and what we're doing and what's going on in our lives, which, like Aaron said, it gives you all the opportunity to get a little insight on us, what we're doing, what we're up to, who we are, and our families a little bit. So it makes it a little bit more personal, which I think is kind of neat, and I think it's needed.
Yeah.
We want y'all to get to know us, and we want to get to know you guys. But like Aaron said, with the Luke study that we just finished up, hey guys, go back and listen to all of those podcasts and study along with us during that study of Luke. It was really good stuff. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I'm sure Aaron learned a lot. But it's just something you guys can go back and study on. Maybe you want to use it for your church, like a study group or something like that. Y'all can utilize it for that. It's good stuff. It's fun.
Oh, so Marshall, I meant to. I sent this to Christian, and I had it pulled up here. And the reason for going back to the Old Testament, and I'm going to show it to you. And I know anybody listening can't see this because it's not a video podcast, but maybe you can search it. I don't know how you would go about searching it, but there's and I couldn't even begin to tell you. It was what would have been the date last Wednesday?
Hang on, I can tell you. Give me just 5 seconds. Last Wednesday was the 13th.
So the 13th. So if you get on Spotify, you look up Lakeview Assembly in Hot Springs, or look them up on their website. It's Lakeview Assembly in Hot Springs. Anyway, look up their Wednesday night sermon, and he says who did this. But I'm about to show you, Marshall, what this is, and if you can see it, I'll send it to you too. Do you see that? It looks like a rainbow.
Yeah.
Yep. And then it looks like a graph chart at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
You like a negative graph chart. Anyway, that is all the corresponding lines. All those lines, those different colored lines, are the compare and contrast, or the similarity of everything that leads from the Old Testament to the New Testament of Jesus. That just shows you that's the whole Bible. That whole timeline at the bottom is the whole Bible, and how everything corresponds with each other, how God's word is all connected and all points to Jesus. Yeah, let me send that to you real quick here.
That's pretty cool. I'm trying to give me just a second. I'll look it up here in a minute. Lakeview Assembly. I've got that typed in Spotify, and there's so many Lakeview.
Oh, okay. Here it is. I found it. It's Chris Harrison, who did this, and let me see here. It's on chrisharrison.net, and it says this set of visualizations started as a collaboration between. I'll let you all go into reading it. It's let's see here.
What is the front of their? So that picture you showed me, is that what the front of their main podcast picture looks like, or is it something different?
No, that's not what it looks like. This is just a graph that I kind of wanted to show to you and tell people about on here as to the reason why it's just as important to read through the Old Testament, which is where I'm going to kind of start going back to the Old Testament a little bit for the time being. And then, of course, you jump back and forth. You go back, to the New Testament and then to the Old Testament. And that's why God's word is important in its fullest, not just Old Testament. Oh, that's just a history lesson. No, it ain't. Sorry about that, but it's not. There's a lot of pertinent information that God has put in the Old Testament just as well as the New Testament. So, and this backs it up.
Gotcha.
So listen to this here. And then I'll talk about that Lakeview Assembly. Sorry, Marshall. It says the bar graph that runs along the bottom represents all the chapters in the Bible, starting with Genesis 1 on the left. The books alternate in color between light and dark gray. The first book of the Old and New Testaments in white. The length of each bar denotes the number of verses in the chapter. For instance, the longest bar is the longest chapter in the Bible, Psalm 119. Each of the 63,779 cross-references found in the Bible are depicted by a single arc. The color corresponds to the distance between the two chapters, creating a rainbow-like effect. So it's quite interesting. Look it up. It's a cross-reference chart made, from what I can tell, by doing a Google search by Chris Harrison. So it's fascinating. Yeah. And then Marshall, let's see here.
Chris, whoops, that didn't come out right at all.
This is what they're, if you can see it, I don't know if I can see it. This is what they're.
Okay, yeah. Yep, that's the one I found. Okay.
Looks like on Spotify, yeah. And for those of you that can't see this, is I'm showing him a picture of Lakeview Assembly on Spotify. It's called Lakeview Sermon of the Week, and then a little underneath of it says Lakeview Assembly. So
I will follow that, and I did look that up, so I found it on Google.
Cool. Yep. Did I send that to you? I thought I sent it to you too. The picture. Anyway, yeah, do some research into that. It's very very interesting. I guess maybe not.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, I sent it to you. Anyway.
Yeah.
Who would have known that we could come up with a whole podcast just doing a bunch of small talk, huh?
Hey, come on now. We're pretty creative guys.
Just another shout out to our good buddy Anthony Morris. He is coming out with, he is announcing a new single release that we will probably, why do I say probably? We will be airing at the end of one of these episodes. But his new title, I can't talk tonight. His new single titled Too Late will be releasing January 19th. So that's exciting. I'm glad to see him coming out with some new stuff.
So this is how we'll announce it. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live at the Undaunted Pursuit Podcast, Anthony Morris and his new hit single, what's it called?
Too Late.
Too Late.
Yeah. There you go, Anthony. I wish I would. I'm gonna have to tell him that to listen to this episode.
Oh man, I wish I would have forgotten the name of it. Oh, that would have been perfect.
He is such a great person. He is. I love promoting him, and he is so grateful that we do. And we don't do it just because he is a good artist, and we are more than happy to promote him here on this podcast. Yeah. So, and just as well as this gal that we used last week, Mellisa Mattie, she is amazing. Holy smokes. That song, that new single she just put out, Heaven and You, that was amazing. I love it. And I told her, I was like, I'm going to have to she gave us permission to use her songs, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to use that for the next couple of weeks because her music is great. So if you guys need to go check her out. Her links are in last week's episode, and will probably be in this week's episode too. So yeah, definitely check her out.
I've got to be honest. I don't always hear these people's music because it's not very often I go back and listen to our own podcasts. Sometimes
No, because you
when
lived
Aaron
it.
tells me about these, exactly. So sometimes when Aaron tells me about these artists, I'll just zoom to the back. I'll fast forward and I'll just listen to the music. And everybody I've listened to this far has been amazing. Aaron's not lying. These guys are great. These ladies are great. They're great musicians. They're great artists. And we're very grateful and thankful that you guys are willing to allow us to utilize y'all's music. It helps us out in a big way. And I know it hopefully helps you guys out. And most importantly, it gets the word of God out, whether it's through music or through just listening to Aaron and I. So y'all are awesome. We appreciate y'all. We love you very much. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I was thinking of something just a second while you were talking, and now it escaped me. I guess it wasn't important, but yeah. Dang. I forgot it anyway. Yeah.
Oh, well, such as
I guess everybody is right. I guess everybody has listened to us ramble on long enough, huh? I mean, I can't believe that we were at this thing's going to be like 40, 50 minutes of us just talking about what? Yeah. As you were talking, I was trying to think of like, what have we talked about that's been so important that has taken 45 minutes, 42 minutes to get across. And I really don't know.
Nothing. Just Aaron and I's lives, what we're doing. Random stuff because we're awesome. That's all.
And here's some more randomness that I just remembered. Okay. I have been wanting. Oh man, this is kind of exciting for me anyway. We were talking about food this episode, of course. Everything comes back to food.
Oh yeah.
I just remembered we are going through Texas, and that is home of Buc-ee's. And I've been wanting to try their stinking brisket sandwiches for the longest time, for like the past, I don't know how many years. And you don't have Buc-ee's comes nowhere even close. They're not even here in. I think they're getting ready to build a location here in Arkansas. One location, so they don't even come close to being up in Idaho. And I've heard about them on other podcasts, and yeah, I'm excited. I just thought about that. I'm going to have to stop at a stinking Buc-ee's.
So Kelsey and I have been to Buc-ee's numerous times. Obviously, we live in Texas, home of Buc-ee's. But so every time we go to East Texas, to where family lives, we pass by at least one or two of them in different towns.
Oh, buddy.
So we all try to make it a point to stop in there because Buc-ee's isn't like going to your typical gas station. Buc-ee's is like going to the town mall. Okay. Buc-ee's is like a grocery store and a mall and a gas station had a baby. Okay. That's what Buc-ee's is. And so you could go into Buc-ee's and you'll spend, you'll spend an hour or 2 hours in Buc-ee's and you won't even realize the time's gone by. And you're like, hey, we got to get back on the road because we've been to Buc-ee's for 5 hours. If you need to do Christmas shopping, you go to Buc-ee's. When you do grocery shopping, go to Buc-ee's. Do you need gas? Go to Buc-ee's. But seriously, Buc-ee's is awesome.
I'll take one of them brisket sandwiches for Christmas. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Hey, those brisket sandwiches are really good. Their chicken sandwiches are also really good. Their flavored nuts that they have there are delicious. And it's awesome. So make it a point to go to a Buc-ee's either on the way down or on the way back. I mean, going back, to up to Hot Springs, y'all can. There's several different ways you guys can go back up, and y'all can hit a Buc-ee's on the way, for sure. Especially if you go up through East Texas and kind of go up that way. I think there's one in Carrollton. Yeah. So anyway, there's plenty of them out there. Yeah, definitely go do that. It'll brighten up your trip even more.
My goodness. The amount of promoting we have done on this podcast, man, we're going to have to come up with a sponsor of some sort. Holy smokes.
I mean, I just plugged Buc-ee's more than anything I've ever plugged, I think. I mean, I think I just did a commercial for Buc-ee's, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
I should get a percentage.
Yeah, no joke.
And that was on the fly.
Okay.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, that was pretty good. All right. Well, I guess we've rambled on long enough.
Yeah.
You know, being that this is going to come out, this is a Tuesday that y'all are listening to this. I'm glad y'all had a good Christmas, and I hope that this new year brings, whatever. I hope you guys have a happy new year, whatever that looks like. Especially if you haven't found Jesus yet, that'll definitely make your new year that much grander. So, I mean, we got to bring Jesus into this podcast somewhere, and because that's what we do. So, if you are not a believer and don't believe in Jesus, make that your New Year's resolution. How about that?
Yeah, reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you about that.
Yeah. At mail at undauntedpursuit.com. So, So let's close this out, Marshall, and let's get on with our evening. I think I don't know what kind of dinner we got going on yet. We haven't eaten yet. So
we had chicken tacos. I'll throw that in there, and they were delicious.
Oh, I think
closing us out.
Simple mac and cheese. Go ahead.
There's nothing wrong with that. So, guys, hey, like we always say, please like, follow, share, subscribe on YouTube. We don't have video, but we have some amazing audio. Thanks to Aaron. Go do that. Eventually, we will have a video, and you will love it. Secondly, go and visit us on all of the social media platforms that we have available: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Hey, we're even on LinkedIn. We're even posting stuff on LinkedIn. So go follow us, subscribe to us, like us, spread it, share it with all your family and your friends and strangers, people on the street.
Word of mouth.
Not just to spread, our podcast, but to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, because that's the most important thing. But all those outlets that's what they are. They're outlets, they're avenues to allow us to use to get the word of Jesus out. So please do those things. And one of these days when Aaron gets settled in, I'm pretty sure we still have a bunch of Bibles packed away somewhere. And one day those will be unpacked.
In a storage container up in Idaho right now.
Yeah. But just because they're packed away doesn't mean you guys, if you need one, you can't tell us that you need one, and we can write that information down. And once we get to them, we can get one mailed out to you. So don't forget about that. We still want to be able to get those out to you guys in the foreseeable future. And we love you. Y'all are awesome. Thanks for listening to us. Especially thanks for listening to us today ramble on about a bunch of sweet nothings.
Yeah.
Y'all are awesome.
Yeah. And especially, to this is the last episode of the year. The last episode of 2023. Guys, thanks for hanging in there with us. And of course, what I wanted to add to that Bible thing is, if you guys needed a Bible, I will go buy one personally for you. So it's not, we may have some packed up in a storage unit in Idaho, but if you need a Bible, you message us on any platforms, anywhere you message us, we will get you a Bible in a reasonable amount of time, because it is that important. So, well, that rounds us out, Marshall. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you next time here on Undaunted Pursuit Podcast. Enjoy this music by Mellisa Mattie, and go follow her links too. We'll see you guys later. Adios.
Made it all this way, and half of it should have made me break. And the devil had his way, oh, his way. I heard about your fame, and then everything changed when I called upon your name, oh, your name. Well, you rescue me, build me up, make me stronger. I cannot hold much longer.